Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.
Good evening, everybody. Before we begin this week's episode of the Iris Podcast, I have some unfortunate news to share with the Tranquility Gaming community. This past weekend, Tranquility staff was informed that Seiji, one of the players on the team Aimbots, had sadly passed away. While he was new to Tranquility Gaming, Seiji, better known as Ethan, was a great member of not just the Aimbots team, but also as a member of our community, and he will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family in these very difficult times. To commemorate the legacy of Seiji, the members of Aimbots, his teammates, came together to create this video talking about their experiences playing with him this season. We will miss you, Seiji. May you rest in peace.
Not really sure how to start off this video, but I guess best way to go out of the gate would be saying that Ethan was probably one of the best Ana players I've ever seen. The guy was absolutely cracked. I remember when he first trialed for our team. Came out of the gate swinging. Honestly, had some of the greatest sleeps I've ever seen. Pretty much stopped every ultimate. Guy had some of the best mechanics. I mean, outside of the game, he was a great guy. Honestly, made every match just fun to play. Always had a good attitude. Always laughed at my stupid TikTok references, so I appreciated that. But yeah, definitely will miss having him on the team with us. So yeah.
Ethan was only kind. He was very, very nice to everybody in the Discord server and on the team. I've never heard him say anything negative in our matches or in scrims or during VOD review. He's always a very positive person. What I'm going to miss the most about Ethan is if you're the first person in VC with him, he's asking you how your day was, he's saying hi, and he's always somebody that you would want to talk about your day with.
Hey everyone, I'm Vila. I play with Aimbots in the Harmony tier, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to say how much we're going to miss Ethan. I unfortunately was only able to speak with Ethan once during my trial recently, but I really want to thank him for being extremely kind, extremely genuine, extremely welcoming. Really the kind of guy where even just one conversation, just one interaction, you can really see just how outwardly genuine they are. So the team, the community, and the world entirely really lost someone great and someone special. And I really just want to thank you for being a great teammate for the brief amount of time I was able to spend with you. So thank you, Ethan.
I brought Ethan onto the team as a first-time Overwatch Tranquility player. And the time I spent with him, and I watched him grow, and he became probably one of the best players on my roster. And I'm genuinely blessed that I had him. And we had laughs, we had upset moments, but at the end of the day, his character never changed. He was always, all right, let's get this done, let's go to the next one, we're good. And that's gonna be that personality I'm gonna miss the most. And I wanna thank everybody for supporting Aimbots through everything, and I want to thank his family, and I want to tell his family that we love all of you. The Aimbots community, we love all of you.
Ethan, or Seiji, was one of the greatest Ana players I ever had the gift of meeting. He was insane, extremely motivated at the game, and I remember at his trial, he slept someone from across the map at his trial, which I just don't understand how you do that. I don't understand how he would wake up to play the game because he would have to go to a night shift at 12 o'clock in the morning. It was motivating to see his motivation to play the game. It made me want to play more. It made me want to practice more. He was, to put it lightly, the most devoted guy I've ever seen in Overwatch. And I'm really sad that he's going to be gone.
Hey guys, I'm not very good at this kind of stuff, but I just want to say that Ethan was one of the most pure and joyful people I ever had the pleasure of meeting and spending time with. The Aimbots team, we were kind of lost before Ethan joined, and he brought just like this light to our team. He was just so kind and really cared about the people around us, around him. He made us a better team, and he made me a better player. I'll never be able to thank Ethan for all he did for our team. Rest easy, brother. We're gonna miss you always. To Ethan's friends and family, I hope you guys find peace in knowing the joy and laughter he brought to everyone around him. I'll be praying for you guys. Once an aimbot, always an aimbot. GG's Ethan. Fly high, brother.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Iris Podcast. I'm your host, Bowsy. Joining me here today, we have Johnel and we have Fish. How are you guys doing on this fine Monday evening?
I'm doing all right, Bowsy. The video had me cracking tears a little bit, but gotta stay strong for the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing well. That video, I unfortunately never met Ethan, but I wish him best wherever he is now.
Yeah, definitely. Ethan, again, as I said, while a new member to our community, still was a member here of the Tranquility community, and we will greatly miss Ethan for years to come. But I feel like even if Ethan were here today, he would want us to continue doing what we love doing, and that is continue the season, keep going strong throughout the rest of the season, and keep doing the podcast here today. So that's what we're going to be doing. But before we get to all of that, I will make it clear that there are some things real quick about Ethan and Seijitashi I want to go over. First thing, there is a GoFundMe set up for Seijitashi or Ethan that you guys, if you want to donate any money to help Seijitashi or Ethan and help his family and friends, that is also available. And also, anybody who needs somebody to talk to, community liaisons are on standby right now to help out those that need somebody to talk to, especially with such a dire situation that recently happened. But it's definitely sad, but you know what, we're gonna get through it all together here. With that out of the way, we are now in the 4th week of the Tranquility Gaming tournament, and we already hit the halfway point in our tournament. So let's start off by recapping what happened in week 3 with our first section known as Amp It Up. Starting off with you, Jono, what was your favorite moment from week 3 of Tranquility?
I want to be honest, my favorite moment was watching my boys over on Insidious take their first win this season. When they start that momentum, I'm telling you, I'm still going to stand on it no matter how much Navino gets mad at me. Insidious is a team to be afraid of.
We'll definitely see if Insidious are able to keep going after that win last week. Fish, what about you? Your favorite moment from week 3?
Gotta be, speaking of Navino, it's gotta be Geometric beating Koala Kings. Loosely affiliated with both teams, love both teams, but my boy Pomku getting the W. I love Geo. I didn't expect that from them. I'm gonna be honest. KK did have some missing players, but it was a very exciting match, and congratulations to Geo for that.
Yeah, definitely Geometric doing a good job getting their revenge on Koala Kings for that finals last season. It seems to be a Harmony Tier focused podcast here for our favorite moment, because I also went to the Harmony Tier. Happened to notice that the still winless Chicago Mafia almost reverse swept the flashbacks. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but it's interesting. That tells me that obviously is a great moment, but it tells me one of two things. It tells me, one, flashbacks may have some cracks in the armor, or two, Chicago Mafia may be better than their score says. I am seeing in the chat Pasty wasn't there. I am aware. But still, like, that's the second week in a row the Flashbacks has been not performing up. So we'll see if they're able to repair that armor in time for the end of the stage. But definitely not the start Flashbacks we're looking for, even though they are 2-1. Let's go over now to what you're most looking forward to as we enter the 4th week of Tranquility, starting off with you, Jono.
I'm gonna be honest. Everybody knows what I'm gonna say. This featured match this week is gonna be big. The biggest match in the Harmony tier this season, in my honest opinion. The 3-0 team going up against the 2-1 team. I wanted Aimbots and Onigiri. Come watch, please.
Harmony tier looking like a very fun matchup over there. Fish, what about you? What are you most looking forward to as you enter week 4?
I am looking forward to after scrims tonight with Thuggington. I would like to see who the new Tranquility Hall of Famer is. I am guessing it's Cam. That's my guess. Just throwing it out there.
You're really saying old man Cam would finally get?
Yeah, I think it's him. He's on his deathbed. They got to give it to him soon. He's gonna die soon.
All right.
Cam, we need him.
Regardless of what he just said, but regardless, like, of course, for those who didn't watch last night's After Scrims tonight, we did crown 2 Hall of Fame members. We inducted Try and Glitch into the Hall of Fame. Make sure you watch After Scrims tonight with Thuggington on Sundays to watch more Hall of Fame members be inducted. For me, it's sort of related to Jono's point, but I'm looking forward toward one of the more recent pickups on Aimbots, and that is Vila. Vela has been in Tranquility obviously for a long time. I believe they are a Hall of Fame member, so they've had a lot of history in Tranquility. But I'm most looking forward to Vela on Aimbots specifically because there was once upon a time I used to actually be a player. I used to be on teams, and there was a time I ranked for a team, and we were up against the Fighting Potatoes back when Vela was on that team. Vela was the most annoying Tracer player I've ever had to play against in Tranquility. That goes without a doubt. And I think with Aimbots recruiting Vila, I think that it's going to be very fun to watch Aimbots now with Vila on that team. Vila is a menace, and I'm very excited to watch them on Aimbots this week, especially with that feature match that John mentioned. And of course, to finish out this section, we have our bold prediction for the remainder of Season 10. John, we'll start with you. What is your bold prediction?
My bold prediction is Harmony tier top 8 will look completely different by the end of stage 2. Completely different. Because by the way that this season's going right now, it's going to change.
We'll see if it does change. Obviously, the top 8 obviously looks different this week, but we'll get into that when we get into that. Did I forget to change the images? I did forget to change the images. Fish, tell me what your thoughts are as I get these things sorted for the top 8 later.
My bold prediction is that 15 teams will go undefeated in stage 1. Due to how many bye weeks people get with, all the teams that have dropped out, there's a lot of room for good teams to not play other good teams, which leaves, I think, a lot of teams going undefeated, which means that map diff will be very important for A and B groups.
We'll definitely see if that map diff is going to be able to work in, and how these teams are able to continue their undefeated streak. Because obviously, there's a lot of potential for that undefeated streak. I am going a little bit bold, and it might be related to our topic later today. I don't know. I'm not a script writer or whatever. But I'm going to say that at least that a team that is currently 1 or 2 or 0-3 across all tiers, a team with a negative win rate, will win all of their remaining matches in the regular season. Obviously, teams have had a rough start, but I think that the teams that have these opportunities, now that the season's starting to progress, starting to get used to some things, they definitely could start getting a hot streak on. So I think some teams that are currently in the rough will be winning the remainder matches of this season. But that brings us to the end of Amp It Up, and now we're going to be heading over to our next section, which it's time to show you the Iris Top 8. Of course, every week here, the content creation team votes on the top 8 picks in every single division. And this week, we have a lot of interesting rankings for the top 8. So let's start with the Harmony tier. Yes, I know this has been a lot of Harmony tier coverage so far this podcast. I don't care. We're starting off with the Harmony tier top 8. Your 8th place is the Jersey Boys making their appearance. 7th place is Onigiri. 6th place is Strix. 5th place is Joodles. 4th place the Galactic Penguins. 3rd place is Pause Champ. 2nd place the Koala Kings. And 1st place is Geometric. I just realized that I forgot to do my internet connection here, but we're going to do that at the end of the Iris top 8. Let's start off with you, Jono. Your thoughts on this top 8?
I was a bit shocked, honestly, seeing that Flashbacks got knocked off and Jersey Boys stepped up. I could argue a few more teams on this top 8, but as of right now, I think it's pretty solid.
Fish, your thoughts on the top 8 for Harmony tier?
Yeah, when I put in my submission for the Harmony top 8, I actually completely blanked on Jersey Boys. They just didn't come across my mind, but I think it's a pretty fair choice. They took Galactic Penguins to 5 maps, and that's pretty impressive. But for me, I'd have Clairvoyance in there. I think an undefeated team, if you've won every game, you deserve to be in the top 8. Maybe that's a radical idea, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, Clairvoyance seems to be the team that just cannot make the top 8. Hopefully next week will be their week. Let's go over now to the Discord tier. Your Discord tier top 8. In 8th place is the Wildcat Boys. 7th place is Avalon. 6th place the Cosmic Castaways. 5th place Trigonometric. 4th place Paradise Lost. 3rd place the Beat Drop Bears. 2nd place Reminiscence. And 1st place, still riding high after that preseason championship, is MI7. Jono, your thoughts on this top 8?
I think this top 8 is pretty accurate. A lot of big changes from last week, and I just appreciate the fact that Paradise Lost is actually getting the love that they deserve, to be honest.
Fish, your Yeah, there I am. Was
that real?
What do you mean that was real? That was, so, long story short, usually I have to plug this in before I start my podcast stream. I forgot to. So, that was the only time that you're probably ever going to see me intentionally disconnect so that I could change the internet source, but, it's fine. I got it back up. But regardless of which, the Devil Duke's 2nd, in 1st place is the Guangzhou Gangsters. If you don't understand the reference, last year, every time I mentioned the Devil Dukes, my internet would cut out, and the stream would have to restart. Anyway, with that top 8 now decided here, Jono, your thoughts on the Transcendence tier top 8?
It honestly, it really looks the same, but the 8th pick's always going to change, especially with how diverse this Transcendence tier is. But go Hive Mind. Woo!
Your thoughts on this, Fish?
The Singularity disrespect needs to stop. Okay, Navino goes on the podcast. He points out how Singularity is lower than Hive Mind, despite them just beating them. And then, in back-to-back weeks, Hive Mind is still above Singularity. How is this possible?
Skill diff.
There's these voters. There's bias. Please check him PC. I don't get it. But anyway, Singularity should be at 5th right now because they're a quality team. But that's the only gripe I have with it. Everything else is good.
Singularity definitely seems to be getting underrated a little bit. We'll see if their ratings are able to soar as the season goes on. But that is your Iris top 8 all in full. That's every single team in the Iris. That's every single top 8. Again, these are voted on every single week, so make sure you check back next week to see what the rankings are in that regard. But next, we have a special little section because for those who happen to watch Twitter, you may have noticed that we sent out a tweet asking for your questions. Some of them were questionable, I will say, to say the least, but I was able to find 4 pretty interesting questions that I could share with my analysts here and ask them to see what their opinions are on them. So these are questions submitted by you over on our Twitter at TrankTV. Make sure you follow our Twitter to get all the updates on the Tranquility broadcast. But we're going to start off with this first question, who was submitted by Greninja. Which currently undefeated team do you think has the best chance of pulling off a perfect season? I categorize this as either undefeated through the regular season or a golden season, which means that you do not lose a single map for the entirety of the season. John, we're going to start with you. Which currently undefeated team will be getting that perfect season?
Everybody knows who I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Pause Champ because they're on a roll right now. Golden Stage, 10 out of 10.
Pause Champ looking pretty strong thus far. They currently are undefeated, so it is possible in that regard. Fish, what about you?
I'm going to stick with the Harmony theme that we've started. I'm going to go with Geometric. Due to Koala being in their group, that means they don't have to play them in Stage 2, and I think they will beat every team in Stage 2. I think the other candidates are the Gangsters, but they have to play Devil Dukes twice, and I don't know. I think DD might win one, and I think Discord's just too competitive.
There's some bias there, Fish.
Maybe. I'm benched. Go farm.
He's just in it for the champion role, just like Guangzhou Gangsters. Half of Guangzhou Gangsters roster, but definitely we'll see if Geometric are able to get that undefeated season for their own as well. Worth noting, those two teams that both my analysts just mentioned might actually have to play each other if they happen to go undefeated. So could be interesting to see who's correct and who's wrong in this situation. Next up, let's go over to a question that was asked by Try and technically capital, albeit wasn't as specific. Your favorite new branding for each tier. Obviously, a lot of new brandings and teams have come in, and there's a lot of cool logos and branding. What is your favorite new branding for each tier in Harmony, Discord, and Transcendence? Starting off with you, Jono, your favorite Harmony branding that's brand new this season.
Onigiri, for sure. For sure. That little rice ball can... Oh, my God. I love it.
I don't know why I asked. Fish, what about your favorite? What about your favorite branding in Harmony tier that's brand new this season?
Unfortunately, Jonel answered his sheet before mine, and I didn't want to go with the same one. But I will go with Basement Dwellers. I like their goblin. I think it very much looks like a basement dweller. I think it's a very cool logo.
Dwells in your basement, Fish.
All right. Discord tier. Jono, your favorite logo, your favorite new branding from the Discord tier.
Blobfish, 10 out of 10. I don't know if you've ever seen an IRL blobfish. Fire.
Like that.
Because I've never seen one either.
LCS would probably be the first person to agree with you there. Fish, what about you? Your favorite new branding in the Discord tier?
I am confident about this one. Wildcat Boys. GOAT logo. One of my favorite logos in Trank. I love that logo.
Wildcat Boys, also a very fun name for me to say. I like saying that name normal. In fact, I'm going to say it again. The Wildcat Boys. It's just a fun name to say sometimes, guys. What about in Transcendence tier? Favorite new branding over there? Starting off with you, Jono.
Hive Mind, for sure.
I mean, that makes sense. You said Hive Mind a lot this season. Fish, what about you? Your favorite new branding in the Transcendence tier?
I'm going to go with Singularity. I chose this in preseason 1, too. I like Space. Very cool logo. I think I did a good job with that one.
Singularity definitely has a fun logo over there. Very good branding over the Transcendence tier. That's it for that question. Thank you, Try and Greninja, for those first two questions. Moving on to our next question, coming at us from the one, the only, Chobi. What is your all-time favorite team to watch? And as an added challenge, it cannot be your own team or org, which means Jono can't pick the aimbots, and Fish can't pick MI7 or Devil Dukes. Jono, we'll start with you. What is your all-time favorite team to watch?
Well, since I can't pick never mind. Last season, Galactic Penguins, for sure. That team was scary. I'm gonna be honest.
I like that pick.
Yeah, Galactic Penguins last season definitely was fun to watch. Fish, what about you? Your all-time favorite team to watch?
Now, my sample size is admittedly quite small. I've only been here for 2 seasons, so I will go with Koala Kings last season. Big fan of that roster. Tomas, Mello, Drowsy, Pomku. Love those guys. That was a very cool team to watch.
So you seem to both pick teams from last season, which is awkward. So how about I give you a challenge here with a little bit of a flashbang? How about a team this season that's your all-time favorite to watch? Jono, starting with you.
Watch Champ.
Fair enough point. Fish, what about you?
I'll go Cosmic. Their ball comp is pretty entertaining.
Actually, you know what? I'll change it. Beat Drop Bears. 10 out of 10. Just because I like watching Navino play.
That team is the most boring team to watch I've ever seen. That's the worst answer. That is the worst answer.
Listen, I did it for Navino.
So I find it funny. I find it funny when Navito's not on the podcast. John will start talking very good about the marsupial teams. Yet when he is, he starts talking trash about them in some aspects.
Oh man, that was so funny.
I'm pretty sure at this point, like, John will just does it to piss off Navino on the podcast, which I'm all for. Anyway,
no cap.
Our final question that we got from Twitter, and this one was the question that I think was the most fun to do for all of us. My personal opinion, but it could be depending on how you feel. This one was submitted by Glitch. Again, recent Hall of Famer Glitch. If you had to draft an all-time Trank roster, who would you put on it? And the way I'm categorizing this is, let's say you have a roster of Tranquility Gaming superstars over the 10-season history. And I'm allowing you to pick 6 players, 1 in each role, and then a sub-player. John, we'll start with you. What is your 6-player team that you are making for an all-time Trank roster?
This was a little rough for me as I've only been here since season 9, but I did pick some good ones. So I have Train on tank, Seraph on DPS. I have the one and only Yeti on DPS. Your teammate on support, Glitch on support, and Navino as a sub.
Of course, he picks Navino as a sub, but that definitely could be a pretty fun roster there. Obviously, Mr. Yeti on DPS is still 100% win rate and Transcendence here. I don't know what else to tell you there. Your teammate has been here for so long. Glitch is also strong. I think that's a really good roster that Jono could have there. I would put that under contention. Fish, how about your 6-player all-time Trank roster that you are drafting? Who's your picks?
Now, I could have done this 2 ways. I could have gone like Trolly and Funny, or I could have just gone, slash SRS, which is what I did. I'm going Canada on tank. Dropped 1 match, history of Trank. Pretty good. I'm going Azray and Phone, DPS line, Devil Dukes, season 8, DPS line. Both of them are now pros, kind of. They played in Calling All Heroes, very good players. I'm going Slimal Cam, support line. Cam on support is different, and Slimal is just my guy. And I think he's a very, very calm main support. And then I'm going Itosi Toast as a sub.
Definitely a good roster there. A lot of the Guangzhou Gangsters and one of the best tank players to ever touch the Transcendence here. As Fish mentioned, 1 match lost in 2 seasons of playing tank for Tranquility. Canada, one of the strongest players in Tranquility by a long shot. I also decided to contribute to this because I was like, why not? I like drafting fantasy teams, so I decided to go sort of like Fish's route, try to go for like an all-star roster of the best of the best. Unfortunately, I could not choose Canada because Fish chose it, so I tried to go for something very similar. For my tank, I chose Choi Soo-hwan because Choi Soo-hwan has been a menace, is one of the very few players in the Tranquility community to hit Grandmaster, I'm pretty sure, or at least they hit it last season. Definitely a strong player there. For DPS, I chose Rocket, of course, the Hall of Famer Rocket, who is going to be playing in the Overwatch League Pro-Am later this month. Actually, I think next week. As well, backing up Rocket on the DPS role is Frozen, who's had a long history in Trank, a member of the Guangzhou Gangsters in Season 8. I believe are also a member of the Guangzhou Gangsters this season. Is a legend, is one of the best players on that flex DPS role. For support, I went with an old person. I went with Ice. Obviously, has that unfortunate circumstance of being spawn camped by Thuggington, but that's okay. Still has a good reputation behind them. And then LCS, who, when you put that guy on LAN, I swear to God, they are going to be Overwatch League level. LCS, one of the Chilean legends we have here in Tranquility, a strong player on internet. Put them on LAN, I think they'll be a star player. And then for my sub, I had to go for one of the all-rounders in the Transcendence tier, and that's Smugs. He's played tank, he's played support, he's played DPS. He's done it all in Transcendence tier. I think it's only safe to have someone who could flex on all of those roles play in the Transcendence tier. But there you go. There are all of our all-star rosters, and there are all of your Twitter questions. Again, thank you to Greninja, Try, Chobi, and Glitch for submitting those questions for all of our analysts to try and figure out how to answer. with that out of the way, we are now going to be heading over to another video we're showing today, and that is our weekly montage this week for our week 3 moments. We want to thank TyXer, excuse me, I'm blanking on names here. Thank you to TyXer for editing this week's weekly montage.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Reaching for the stars.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you again, TyXer, for that amazing montage video. A lot of great moments that we've had so far. Make sure you submit all your montage moments and also your comms check clips, guys, because there's no comms check this week. But regardless of which, make sure you submit all your montages, your comms check clips, all that such, for that sort of stuff. But let's go into our main section of today. We've talked a lot about the top teams in Tranquility, but before I get to that, Fish, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just one sec. I apologize for the deathbed comment I said about Cam earlier. Really bad, distasteful comment for what happened previously. Completely slipped my mind. I do apologize for that.
Yeah, definitely. I noticed it ahead of time. I didn't want to say anything at the time, but I'm glad like we were able to address that. But yeah, apologize for those rude comments. Again, we respect what happened this past weekend, and again, we are here to support those who need it. But definitely, it happens sometimes. But that out of the way, let's go over the actual topic. We've talked a lot about the top teams. We have the Iris top 8. We have, the top matches, all those top teams. We never really get to talk about those teams that are more so at the bottom of the list. The teams that have a negative win rate, for example. So I thought, when I was trying to draft this show, I thought, why don't we try to give some attention to those players? And that brings us to our section of today. That is bottom feeding. The way this is going to work is that I have allowed my analysts here to pick 3 or sometimes 2 teams that have had bad starts in their tiers. That means that they have had a negative win rate of either 1 or 2 or 0 and 3. They get to pick 3 teams and say why they think they are better than their results are showing right now. And also do the same thing with 3 teams that they wish to see more of in order to make sure that they can do better in the season. So we're going to start off in the Harmony tier here. Harmony tier has multiple teams that are 1 and 2 and 0 and 3. Of the teams that are 1 and 2, Exhilaration, Gehenna Gatekeepers, Chrysalis, FBRD, Ragnarok Freya, Basement Dwellers, Colorado Carbon, Insidious, the Luminous Foxes, Swordfish, and Ares. Of teams that are currently winless include Chicago Mafia, Mets Gaming, Eminence, Positively Aggressive, and The Council. Johnno, of those teams that I just mentioned, pick 3 that have a negative win rate that are better than what their score says.
I'm gonna take a crazy take here. I'm gonna go FBRD, Chicago, and Colorado, just for the fact that FBRD still hasn't gotten able to really get their feet wet. Chicago Mafia just took flashbacks to Map 5, so they have true potential on that roster. And Colorado Carbon, they're just a good team.
Fair enough. Colorado Carbon, definitely a good team. They have BEFCON on that roster, so definitely have been strong over there. Fish, what about you? 3 Harmony teams that are 3 Harmony tiers with a negative win rate that are better than what their standings currently say.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Luminous Foxes, Basement Dwellers, and FBRD. Foxes and FBRD are kind of in the same boat, where they've played 2 just top teams, so it's really unlucky that they have a negative win rate. And then Dwellers, I just think they stumbled in week 1, and I think post week 1 they've been actually a really good team.
We'll definitely see if these teams are better than what their score says as the weeks wind down. But now, what about teams that are at this level that you feel like you need to see more of before you actually put them into this category of maybe they can do it? John, starting with you, give me 3 teams with a negative win rate that you want to see more from.
Luminous Foxes, the Council, and Basement Dwellers. We've seen what Luminous Foxes can do. Obviously, if you tuned into the preseason games, you can see what they can do. Right now, they're The Council, that I just feel like they're just playing around. If they really tried, that team could be pretty good. Basement Dwellers, they're honestly a good team. They're just kind of underneath all of the shadows, and nobody really knows, to be honest.
We'll definitely see if that will be the case there for those teams right there. Fish, what about you? 3 Harmony teams, negative win rate that you want to see more from this season.
I did Fighting Potatoes, who technically don't have a negative win rate, but they've played 4 maps and lost 0-4, so in my book they do. Chicago Mafia and Luminous Foxes. For Fighting Potatoes, I took the question literally. I would literally like to see more of them because they've only played 1 match. Chicago Mafia, I think, as we've said, they went to Map 5 against Flashbacks, so I'd like to see them against an opponent that's more at their level, and I think they actually could. I think they'll win a game. And then Luminous Foxes, again, they've just had a really unlucky strength of schedule so far, and I think they are a much better team, especially with the preseason finals stuff. I think you could expect more from them.
We'll definitely see how these teams are able to continue as the season goes on. Definitely a lot of interesting stuff there in the Harmony tier and how those teams, 1 and 2 and 0 and 3, will continue. Let's move over to the Discord tier, which has a lot of other teams that are also 1 and 2 and 0 and 3. Of your 1 and 2 teams, that includes Error, the Pukin Dogs, Poseidon, Adrenaline, Redacted, Jellyfish, Culture, Tempest, Wildfire, and Concordia Wildwind. And then over on the 0 and 3 side, you have UV Rays, the LNE Blobfish, and the Tampa Bay Tryhards. Jono, of these teams that I just listed, give me 3 that are better than their standings currently say.
I went with Pukin Dogs, Culture, and Tempest. The 3 of these teams are actually playing really well. They got a couple unlucky matches, whatever. I really think that these teams can really do something in Discord, especially with how competitive the tier is. So that's my take on it.
All right, Fish, I'm going to throw that same question to you. 3 teams that I mentioned that have a negative win rate that are better than what their standings currently say.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tempest, Jellyfish, and Adrenaline. I think Tempest has a quality roster. and I think that group they're in is just really tough. I want to see them just play more games in that group. Jellyfish was not able to field a roster week 2, which kind of skews their record down. But I have hope, especially after week 1. And Adrenaline have gone to map 5 in all 3 of their games, so clearly they're staying in and with the teams they're playing. And I'm curious to see if they go map 5 again next week.
Map 5 Warlords over there in the Adrenaline. We'll see if they're able to finally get that 5th map under their belts, or even a 4th map or something to actually win a match here. Jono, what about you? 3 Discord teams that have a negative win rate that you feel like you want to see more from this season.
For those 3, I chose Poseidon, Blobfish, and UV Rays, just for the fact that nobody really hears about those 3 teams. I'm going to be completely honest. So until I can see a little bit more gameplay, I can't really make a judge on those.
Fish, what about you? 3 Discord teams that you want to see more from that have a negative win rate this season.
I'm going to go Pukin Dogs, Culture, and Redacted. Pukin Dogs, I have no idea. They can be a good team. They could be a really bad team. I couldn't tell you. Culture, coming from Trans Tier, I think you expected them to do a little better, but we just really don't know. We have not. The sample size is just too small. And then Redacted have not. They've actually not. Redacted have picked up 1 map. Culture actually hasn't won a map yet. And Redacted, they have a DPS player by the name of Zephy, who is honestly like a top DPS player in Discord tier, but he has not played for Redacted yet. So I'm looking to see how they look when Zephy is playing for them, if he will play for them.
We'll see if Zephy is able to play for Redacted coming into this next week. But that is your Discord tier teams. Now we move over to the Transcendence tier. All the teams that have a negative win rate in Transcendence tier. Those are the teams 1 and 2 are Nightmare Outlaws, Fleet Angels, Throwing Her Bad, Reckless Delta, and Revital. And then the teams that are 0 and 3, Hades, Classified, Frost Nova, and Oath. Of these teams, Jono, I only give you 2 this time because there are significantly less, but give me 2 teams in Transcendence here with a negative win rate that are better than what their standings currently say.
I went with Throwing Her Bad and Fleet Angels, just because I simply think that both of these teams are extremely good in the circumstances that they're in, and I just want to see what they can do this week. If they go this week, then what I just put is correct. 10 out of 10.
Fish, what about you? 2 Transcendence teams with a negative win rate that are better than what their standings currently say.
For first of all, I'm going to go Fleet Angels. They've played Devil Dukes and Guangzhou Gangsters as 2 of their 3 games. And then, hold on. I had to huff some copium. Nightmare Outlaws, I think, are better than people think. I think they are a lot better of a team than people are giving them credit for, and I am looking forward to see them play Fleet Angels this week.
Nightmare Outlaws, of course, getting their first win last week in that feature match versus Oath, so definitely might be on an upswing. Fish might be correct in that, and they might be predicting something here. What about 2 teams that have a negative win rate that you feel like you want to see more from? Starting off with you, John L.
I'm going to follow up on what Fish said. I put Nightmare Outlaws and Reckless Delta. Nightmare Outlaws, like Fish said, I feel like the team's really good. I just have to see more personally. Fleet Angels, same thing. Not Fleet Angels. Reckless Delta, same thing. I just need to see more. I need to see a lot more.
All right, Fish, what about you? 2 teams in the Transcendence tier that you want to see more from that have a negative win rate.
I'm going to go with Revital and Throwing Her Bad. I just know literally nothing about either of these teams. I know that they're both 1 and 2, and I think that they can be better than their record is right now. But I just, again, I haven't seen either of them play, so.
All right, well, we'll see if these teams are able to rebound. We'll see if they're able to show us something new as we enter the final 2 weeks of the Stage 1 of Tranquility Season 10. And speaking of that, we have some matches that we feel like we want to watch this week as we enter the second to last week of Stage number 1. John, we'll start with you. What match are you looking forward to this week? And give me your prediction on the scoreline.
Everybody knows what I'm going to say. I'm going to say the featured harmony match this week. Non-biased, completely non-biased, just because I'm on Aimbot doesn't mean anything. I just feel like it's going to be a really good match to watch from a spectating standpoint. it's really going to be a shootout. Haha, aimbots, shoot bot, whatever. Winner score, I can't really tell you because obviously I'm on the team, so I'm not going to be like, oh, 4-0 aimbot. I'm not going to do that. Come watch tomorrow.
For how biased he's been all podcasts, it seems like that he has finally let loose a little bit of that. But regardless of which, definitely will be a fun match. We seem to have lost Fish.
I'm back. Don't worry.
Back.
Perfect.
I hit back button on my mouse button.
Listen, I do that all the time. Don't worry about it. But Fish, what about your matches you're watching in Stage 1, Week 4?
I'm going Doodles versus Flashbacks. I'm going 3-1 Doodles. These are both known teams in Harmony Tier, and I think people will be looking forward to that game. I am going to go Doodles 3-1. They just have a knack for going 3-1 in every game they play.
They definitely have gone 3-1 in every game. Again, that is Doodles. They are 5th place right now in the top 8, and these are two champions facing off. Flashbacks, the 2-time champions in Season 5 and Season 7. Doodles won the championship in Season 8, so definitely going to be an interesting match there. As much as we've been hyping up Harmony Tier this entire night, I have to deviate. I'm going to the Transcendence Tier, and I'm looking at Nightmare Outlaws versus Fleet Angels. Both of my analysts have just mentioned how these two teams are definitely are better than what their standings say, and I'm kind of on them. I think both of these teams have had very rough starts, and now they can try to prove that they belong. I think it is going to be a 3-2 win for the Fleet Angels. I think it's going to be one heck of a match to watch here as we enter the 4th week of Tranquility. Now, if you like those predictions, I have some very good news for you. If you like predictions and predicting matches, well, after this broadcast, directly after this broadcast of the Iris Podcast, Predicting Tranquility will be live here, same place, pretty much very similar time. You'll be joining many members of the Nerfed will be joined by Choi Suwon and Dexatron in predicting every single match happening in the 4th week of Tranquility. So make sure that you tune in for that. As well, we have our feature matches. I think it's safe to say what we know what the Harmony Tier feature match is this week, but if you don't know already, it is Onigiri versus Aimbots. That is going to be tomorrow. That is Tuesday. On Wednesday is the Transcendence Tier match, Hades versus Wyverns. And on Thursday is the Discord Tier match, the SEAL Team Spuds versus the Cosmic Castaways. Those are all at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I got it right this week, but those are all at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. In addition, Silver Slander takes place every Tuesday after the Harmony Tier feature. Bronze Banter takes place on Saturdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Distance Time. And After Scribs Tonight with Thuggington is every Sunday at 10 p.m. Eastern Distance Time. So make sure you get caught up on all of those events that are happening, or at least all those matches that you can watch this next week. Sorry, I sound like I'm off because I'm trying to message somebody.
Pulling up the giveaway winners.
Hmm?
Are you pulling up the giveaway winners?
I had to message someone for it. But hey,
I have a very strong feeling I'm gonna know who it is.
Watching the matches this week, can it get you those Trank bucks? As you can see, Dadmaster entering in all his giveaway entries for.
Hold on. Let me get in.
Yeah, you could try, but yeah, pretty much just watch the Trank bucks. You can get all those Trank bucks that you can enter in to win a free T-shirt every single week.
Actually, I'm saving up money for gambling.
I mean, fair enough. But that being said, there are some other announcements that I have here. First off, and that is Event Week is coming up. You may have heard the announcement in our Discord server. Event Week is starting very soon. Event Week, of course, is our special event week, is our special sort of ceremony where we raise a bunch of money for charity and do some fun stuff on a break week for Tranquility between Stage 1 and Stage 2, and we have a slew of events coming for you. We have Apex Stream Pugs. We have our underrepresented minority pugs happening on Sunday. We have the return of the TXCXX 1v1 tournament. We have the 3v3 elimination tournament, the Widowmaker 1v1 headshot tournament, the Brawl Night, including Ana Paintball, Rista Jousting, and Gun Game, and of course, everything rounds up with our staff admin pugs, where you get to brutally hurt the staff team in pugs. But all of it's for a good cause, so you know what? It all makes a good sense. All of that is going to be raised for charity. We always raise money for our main contribution of Rise Above the Disorder. Is that Rise Above the Disorder? Yes, Rise Above the Disorder, raising money for Rise Above the Disorder. We've raised so much for them so far in our lifespan. We're gonna be raising even more for them this year. We hope it's gonna be one heck of a fun week. So we hope that you'll tune in for Event Week. That starts next Saturday, April 1st. So make sure you tune in to all of those matches. And that is no April Fool's joke. It starts April 1st. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, of course, we have a lot of big things happening. Of course, we also have, again, the sad news again of Ethan. Again, all of our prayers here, the Tranquility community, are with Ethan and his family during this very rough time. If you want to donate to the GoFundMe, that has recently been linked in the announcements channel of the Discord server. And if you need to talk to somebody, the community liaisons are on standby for any of that reason. Gentlemen, are there any final stalling that you could do while I try to wait for a giveaway winner, because I haven't gotten anything?
I just want to thank everybody for supporting my team during this entire weekend, especially Sneaky. I don't think there's been a day when she hasn't DM'd me asking if I was okay. I really appreciate it. My team really appreciates it. We appreciate all of you, and that's all I really have to say. Fish, go. Spotlight.
I think my heart's out with the whole Aimbots family, specifically you, John. I know how tough it is to lose someone that you care about, especially in like the setting where, you know, Overwatch. Obviously, you care about Overwatch, but it doesn't matter. I guarantee you that Overwatch is the last thing John was thinking about when he heard the news. So, I feel for you, and GoFundMe, donate to GoFundMe. You know, if you can spare anything helps. So.
Yeah, definitely anything could help. And honestly, like, it definitely is rough it definitely was rough for Jono. I'm glad that, we're here. We're a community. We are more than just a group of people online. I consider us a family, and we are here to help everybody in these times of needs. Aimbots, obviously, we care so much about them. They've been such a loving community for the past 2 seasons, and we're glad that we can provide as much support as we need, and we're glad that we're going to be going through this. All right, I think that's as much stalling as I could do. I unfortunately have not gotten any messages from NPC.
Gotcha. I got some more stalling. I got some more stalling tactics. I got you.
I mean, I don't think we have as many stalling tactics as I can. If I do get a giveaway winner before the end of the broadcast, I'll be posting it in the chat during the Predicting Tranquility, or at least if I get it at the end of if I get it after the broadcast is over. Actually, hold on, NPC just jumped online. John will maybe try to stall for a little bit.
All right, hey, Fish. All right, listen. What's your build in 2K? Tell me right now.
Oh my God! So it's like a 6'8" point guard. I think it's a shot creating sharpshooter, 6'8" point guard. I like looked up like demigod 2K.
Oh my God! Can you dribble though?
I clicked the first guy. Yeah, I can dribble. I'm like, all right. I could be better. I don't really play enough. The latency on my career is so annoying when you play Park and you like try to shoot and then it just like rubber bands and then you need your timing.
Yeah,
it's rough. I'm not. And the 2K players have no lives. Let me tell you, the people who like play 2K and like that's all they do, they got no lives. I'm telling you, it's rough. They like have 4,000 hours in that game. I can't compete.
No, as soon as the season drops, somebody's level 20 within the first 10 hours.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
More of a grind fest than Destiny 2. Which, speaking of Destiny 2, woo, go Lightfall. Still haven't beat the legendary campaign on my other characters. Woo.
This is my fault, and I know it is. So.
What, are we not allowed to talk about?
Hey, you told me to stall, man.
You are. I'm just like, I'm disappointed in myself for not setting this up ahead of time. I had so much time, and I just haven't been able to get it until now. So, it happens to the best of us. But yeah, still waiting on that. There we go. I got my pick. Drum roll, please. The winner of a free T-shirt from the Tranquility Store is Jonesy from the Galactic Penguin seasons ago.
Yeah, I thought it was Chevy.
No, it's not Chobi. It's Jonesy this week. Congratulations, Jonesy. Will be getting in contact with you to get a free T-shirt from the Tranquility Store. But that is going to do it for us here this week. For Jono and for Fish, my name is Bowsy. We thank you all for gazing into the iris with us here tonight. And till we meet again, we hope you have an amazing week in Tranquility. Make sure you check Predicting Tranquility after the broadcast, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Later.
Experience tranquility. Pass into the iris.